So today I decided to do things a little differently. Why? Well, basically because I can. Because as a creative, I'm really never boxed into doing things the same way over and over again. And in fact, that's really the essence of creativity. That you can try things differently. You can do things differently. And if you're a creative out there and you're struggling to grow your craft or to develop as a person or to grow your creative business or to develop your idea or to break to the next level, maybe what you need to do is do things differently. Maybe you need to think outside of the box, as they say, and ask yourself, this particular thing I want to do, this particular destination I want to get to, or this particular goal I want to achieve, are there other ways of doing it other than what I've tried or what other people have tried? In other words, it's about asking yourself that what are the different ways or the different things I could do to achieve this goal? Because to be honest with you, life can get pretty boring sometimes for a creative, especially if you have tried something over and over and over again. It can be quite discouraging when you make an effort. It's almost like you're just repeating the same old cycle, and it's really, really energy sapping when you feel like you've put in a lot of effort and done something over and over again and you're not getting any results. So for example, you're trying to grow a YouTube channel and you create video after video, you do some research, you put some effort into the filmmaking, and you create your video, and your channel doesn't seem to be growing, nothing's happening. That's the time when you need to think about doing things differently. Yes, there are lots of YouTubers out there with great advice. There are best practices and tips and tricks that YouTube recommends and other creators recommend. But hey, have you ever stopped to think about the fact that that's all well and good, but maybe some of the things they've recommended are just not for you, because your topic, your niche, your drive, things that push you are just a little bit different from the norm. And so why don't you try to do something differently? Like what I'm doing in this video. Like I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to try to push the bounds of my creativity and try to do things differently. I don't always have to sit in front of a camera in a studio to create a YouTube video. I don't always have to stand in front of a camera to create a YouTube video. I could walk around, put the camera on the ground, shoot in different locations, try different things, and have fun while doing it, which is what I'm doing in this video. You see, one of the ways I've practicalized this over the years is that every time I'm faced with a problem, every time I have a challenge, like for instance, maybe trying to raise money to buy a particular piece of gear or software, anything like taking my creative endeavor to the next level, and finances have been a challenge. One of the ways I've put this concept of doing things differently into practice is that I get a piece of paper and a pen and I write down and I say, let's say I need $5,000 or 5,000 naira or whatever currency. I get a piece of paper and I write down what are 5 ways or 10 ways, what are 10 different ways to raise 5,000 bucks. Number 1, I could ask 10 people for 500 bucks each. Number 2, I could ask 20 people for 250 bucks each. Number 3, I could ask 100 people for 50 bucks each. And I would just keep going on and on and on, and I'll probably get to some ideas like I could sell 10 photographs for 500 bucks each, and so on and so forth. And by the time I get to the end of the list, I probably have like 10 or 15 items now. Some of those items may not really be practicable or things I really want to do, but it's brainstorming, so I just put it all out there. And what I find that this helps me to do is, today is so windy. What I find that this helps me to do is that it helps me to think about the problem in different ways. It opens up my creativity. It helps me to see possibilities and it just helps me to see that there are many ways to solve a particular problem, which is the essence of creativity, the essence of doing things differently, understanding and realizing that there are many ways to solve one problem. You don't always have to do things the same way. You don't always have to think the same way. You don't always have to approach your craft the same way. You don't always have to record your YouTube videos the same way. There's always a chance to do things differently. And that is really one of the main things I want to take away from this video. My goodness, it's so annoyingly windy today. I was hoping for some quiet so that I can be sure that the audio in this video is good, but I'm going to have to rely on this wind muff and inbuilt wind noise reduction on these devices to make sure that this video makes sense. Well, I hope that I'm passing across a message with today's video. As you know, the goal of this channel is to inspire me and everyone out there who call themselves creators to be more, to do more, and to have more. And I think it's usually really all about getting to know the tools of the trade, getting to know the different softwares and tricks, and also getting to know yourself and knowing how your mind works and improving your mindset. That's what this channel is all about. These are things that I have tried and trusted. These are stories and messages from my own experience as someone who a long time ago was a little bit confused about my potential and about the things I really wanted to do, until I discovered the world of photography and videography and self-development, and I started that journey, and here I am today. I'm very pleased with how far I've come, and so that's what I want to share with you, that inspiration, those experiences, those stories, those tips and tricks that will help you to move from point A to point B, knowing that you can be more, you can do more, and you can have more. One of the things that holds us back from doing things differently is fear. And I did a video, I think my last video was on the topic of self-confidence and being able to face your fears and push forward and do what you know that you want to do. So I guess it brings us back to the question of fear and how to address it. And there's no substitute for just, grabbing the bull by the horns and choosing to do that very thing that you are afraid of. Maybe it's standing in front of a crowd or standing in front of a camera. Maybe it's putting yourself out there on social media and saying, hey, this is me, this is what I do. Maybe it's talking about yourself in a certain way you're not comfortable with talking about yourself in a positive way. Or maybe it is that you are just not sure that you can deliver. This is one of the things that can hold you back from trying things in new ways and trying to do things differently. And there's no way you can really grow as a creative or as an individual or as a person if you are not able to overcome your fear. Fear is normal. We all get scared. No matter how many times you do something, there will always be that moment of nerves and fear, but I think it's so important that you must learn to overcome your fear, and that may be the one thing that you do that will help you to try this thing I'm talking about doing things differently, and maybe you just may begin to see some results. Now, some people argue and say that rather than doing things differently, the very opposite is more sure or more true, that you have to do the same thing consistently over time if you really want to see any growth or success. Now, I agree that sometimes you have to keep doing something over and over again before you see results. It's like hammering a nail into a piece of wood. If you give it a few hits and then you stop halfway and say this is not working, and you start to bend or twist your hammer in another direction, you would probably not make any progress. And so you just have to keep hitting the hammer on the head consistently with more force every day, every moment, until the nail goes right into the wood. Yes, I agree. There's a place for consistency, there's a place for routine, there's a place for habits. But I think in this particular video, I'm talking about trying to address challenges, address problems that are just not yielding to that consistent effort. And so there are times when you just need to say, I've been doing this over and over again. Could it be that there's a better way? Could I try something different? Could I push the limits or the bounds of my creativity and try something new. You could be a music artist and you've been churning out a particular style of music and you're just feeling uninspired. It just feels like you're stuck, you're not moving forward. This may be the time to try something different, a new style of music, a new style of photography or filmmaking. Might be even just a lifestyle change. Maybe instead of doing the usual routine you do every morning, try something different for a change and see where it takes you. So I think it's all about trying something different to find some new inspiration or to break through a particular problem that doesn't seem to want to be solved. And then when you break through or when you find something new, you now bring in consistency and routine and trying to make sure it works until you get your results. Bottom line is that there's no one size that fits all. Every day is a new opportunity to wake up and try and see. Today may be the time for routine and the usual and the norm and trying to do things the same way. But tomorrow it may be time for you to try something different. I hope I'm making some sense. Sometimes the only way that you can actually grow creatively is when you just try something different. Your photography might be stuck because you keep on shooting in a particular way. Your framing and composition might be stagnant because you haven't tried shooting from a top-down angle or from a down or from a lower angle. You haven't tried framing your shots using different framing or composition techniques. You've always been doing it the same way over and over again. It could be that your filmmaking is stuck because you've decided that you're only going to shoot handheld. You're never going to try using a gimbal or vice versa. It could be that your filmmaking and storytelling is stuck because you only ever shoot moving shots and you've never tried a static shot where you have the camera just sitting down on a tripod and trying to tell your story with those kind of images. It could be that your graphic design is stuck because you haven't tried new fonts or new software, or you haven't tried learning something new. It could be that your life feels stuck because you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You haven't tried reading a book from cover to cover. You haven't tried waking up earlier, or you haven't tried having certain types of conversations with people, or you haven't tried networking and making friends. There are just different things that you haven't tried and you just keep living your life every day the same way over and over again. It's very possible that these kind of things are the things holding you back. I think at the end of the day, my message is this, that growth comes from many things. Progress, success comes from many things. Being consistent, being clear about your dreams, learning new stuff every day, practicing and routine. But then sometimes the missing ingredient is just that you need to do things differently every now and then, because you never know when you might stumble upon something that is more authentic to you, more real, and resonates more with yourself and your goals or your dream and everything you're trying to build. In today's video, I tried to demonstrate that. I told myself that before today, most times I try to shoot my YouTube videos in a particular way. I try to frame them, think about them, approach them in a certain way. But from today, I'm deciding that I'm going to just be wild about it and just try new things. I want to feel like an artist when I'm creating. I don't want to feel like a robot. I want to feel like I am channeling something new and fresh inside of me. And I'm really quite enjoying creating today's video. And so I hope this video resonates with you. Let me know if there's any particular thing about the style of this video that you like. And also let me know what you think about the message. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.